What's going on, people? It's your boy again, Uche, with another episode. Be careful who you call friends. I know this is a topic that I've talked about a couple of times in the past, but considering the state of the world right now and a lot of things that I've observed, not only just in my own personal life, but outside, like outside of my own being, I see that this is something that a lot of people struggle with. This is why I'm here to reiterate. It is important that we are very intentional in who we call friends. The idea of friendship is one that is very beautiful. Literally every single one of us, we are wired to have people in our lives, whether it's people we're dating, people we're laughing with, family, friends, and so on and so forth, because no one is made to be an island. So I do understand the need, the necessity to want to connect with another human being in a much deeper, intimate fashion. I do understand that. But it is important that we remember that true friendship, true love, true relationship, true friendship takes time, a lot of time. And within this time, things that are necessary in this time are intentionality and consistency. These two things have to be present in order for a genuine bona fide relationship to be formed. It is important that we take our time before we actually solidify someone in our lives to be a friend or a relationship or whatever it is you want to call it. I've always mentioned this so many times. One of the best things that you can do for yourself is being extremely picky who you call a friend or who you let into your circle, whether it's someone you're friends with benefit, someone who is friend turned to family, someone who you call family, doesn't matter. That is one of the best things that you could do for yourself, being extremely picky who you let into your circle. And the reason why I'm stressing this particular topic is because a lot of people are going through a lot of things. And I've mentioned this on so many different episodes. But for the sake of not making this episode too long and going on too far of a tangent, I'm going to try to summarize. A lot of people are truly going through a lot of things, a lot of pain. I call this existential pain, or philosophers call it existential pain. This pain is deep, and a lot of times it leaves a huge void inside of us. And by us, I mean myself included, because I've been there myself. And because of this void, this emptiness that a lot of people exude, and also considering the fact that a lot of people are allergic to accountability, a lot of people don't know how to sit down and look in the mirror and try to see how they can rectify what is missing. A lot of people look to fulfill this void from without as opposed to within. So as a result, a lot of people are constantly pursuing everything and everyone. A lot of times you see this manifested in vanity, people who are very braggadocious, people who gotta have the biggest house, the biggest car, the flashiest, and all of that. And unfortunately, a lot of people seek to fill this void through someone else, through relationships, whether it's friendships, partnerships, jobs, colleagues, and networkings, and including friendship. But the irony of it is that true happiness, true success comes from within. Only you, the individual, can actually feel the void that is within. And unless you sit with yourself in silence and rectify that which is lost within you, you would never be able to exude fulfillment. This is the law of reciprocity. You only give what you receive. If you are empty on the inside, you will only exude emptiness, and as a result, emptiness will be manifested right back to you. But if you are filled on the inside, you exude fulfillment, you exude completeness, and as a result, only people who are fulfilled and full, just like you, will be naturally gravitating towards you as well. Now, the reason why I'm stressing this particular topic is you're going to inevitably meet people in your life who are reeking of so much emptiness, so much void. And these people don't know how to sit with themselves in silence, hold themselves accountable, and take responsibility to heal that which is broken. And I don't necessarily fully blame them. There's a whole lot of nuances to that. Unfortunately, a lot of us were born in families that didn't teach us love, that didn't teach us fulfillment. Matter of fact, unfortunately, a lot of the families we were raised in and cultures we were raised in robbed us of that individuality, that innocence that we were born with, that completeness we were born with. And then living in this world that is so vain and so fast-paced, a lot of that emptiness is perpetuated. So I don't really blame them. And of course, living in a very capitalistic world, A lot of people are seeking to capitalize of your ignorance. So there's not a whole lot of intentionality to teach people how to heal themselves from within. So I don't really blame them. But unfortunately, as a result of this, there's this chaos, this madness, this unanimous madness of emptiness. A lot of people are truly empty. And a lot of those people are going to inevitably cross your path, and it's important for you to recognize them and dodge as much as possible. Because again, only them can fulfill themselves, only them can feel themselves, only them can feel that void that is within. There's this saying that goes something along the lines of a taker always takes, but you, the giver, you need to learn when to stop giving. And that may be true to a certain extent, but I want to add a little bit of a spin here. From a place of maturity, you, the taker, it is important for you to know when not to take, because not every given is coming from a place of genuineness. A lot of these people who are truly empty, who are truly void on the inside, are so desperate to feel their void that a lot of times when you meet them for the first time, in the first couple of times, they appear as angels who are so willing to do anything for you. These are the people that are willing to pay for your food when you guys go out, willing to buy your gas, buy your groceries, take you shopping, take you traveling, offer to pick you up from the airport, offer you to take you to the airport. It's almost as though you just met an angel for the first time in your life. This is a very manipulative tactic to have you trapped. You have to remember that nothing is free in this world. Everything comes with a price tag. This person that you don't know, that you barely met, is offering all of these things for you. You have to remember, eventually, receipt will be drawn. These are the people that I call insurance collectors. See, from your perspective, if you're somebody who is naive, who is ignorant, who is young, who is also empty yourself, you confuse these people as the best thing since sliced bread. But the reality is, eventually and inevitably, they will come to collect insurance. It's a very sick, manipulative thing to put you in a box where you feel like you owe them something. This is because they don't feel confident in their own being to form a genuine bona fide relationship with you. So they feel that they have to resort to manipulating you into believing that you owe them something because of how much they've come through for you. And then you also have to be aware of the people who constantly shower you with so much compliments and titles, especially when they're uncalled for. These are people who will compliment you out of the blue. They usually compliment your physique, your ability, capability, and so on and so forth. It's almost very choking. They always seem to have something positive to say about you at all times, even when within your mind, you're like, okay, this is really unnecessary at this point, but thank you, appreciate it. Or the people who constantly call you titles, but this is very common with Nigerians. If you're Nigerian, you probably know what I'm talking about. These are people who would be quick to call you boss, chief, oga, chairman, all these terms of endearment. It's sort of like to gas you up. And if you are someone who is truly empty on the inside, you would confuse these things as genuine and hold on to those words. And then lastly, you have the people who constantly have some type of sad stories. These people always have some type of sad stories. There's always something that happened to them as children, something that they went through, childhood trauma, or some sad story that has to do with their exes, or something that has to do with a family member who is going through something awful. Maybe, like a parent going through cancer. It's usually like a mother or something like that. It's always this very sad story. A lot of times, again, it's because that these people do not believe in their own capability to attract you and keep you in a very genuine, bona fide way. So they resort to manipulation. They try to trap you emotionally by telling all these sad, sappy stories. Now, the interesting thing about all those three scenarios that I mentioned is that these three things are not really objectively wrong per se. There's nothing wrong with someone gifting you something or someone offering to do something nice to you. There's nothing wrong with that. I myself, I'm not opposed to someone coming through for me, and I personally have come through for people in the past as well. And also compliments. There's nothing wrong with compliments. I've had people who have given me genuine compliments in the past, and I've also given people genuine compliments in the past. And lastly, there's nothing necessarily wrong with sharing something from your past. We've all gone through things as children. Childhood trauma is more common than most people know. It's just that most people are not being honest about their childhood childhood trauma. But if you're getting to know someone, inevitably you will hear something about their past, or family dynamics. The point is that these things are natural progression. These things are things that will happen eventually. Like when I meet you for the first time today, you may not necessarily know much about my childhood. You may not necessarily know enough about me to shower me with compliments. You may not necessarily know enough about me to determine that, I'll come through for this dude. I'll pick him up from the airport type of situation. These things naturally unfold and unravel later on. It could be situations of months down the line, or maybe even years down the line, that you start opening up to someone enough because you are comfortable enough to share some of these intimate moments of your own being with that person. But the difference here is that this person is very rushed. It feels so rushed. It feels new. Like within the first few encounters, they're already showering you so much compliments and so much titles and telling you so much intimate stories about them. It's always something very sad, something very soppy. From your perspective, they come off as some type of enigma. There's something different about them. This is a very manipulative tactic a lot of times. And even if it's not manipulative per se, think about it. Would you really want to be associated with someone who would literally spill their beans the very first time they're meeting you? It just shows that this person has no sense of discernment, they have no social skills, and they have no boundaries. Because again, true mature people will understand that it takes time to be able to open up to people in that manner. Like talk about very deep, intimate, personal things like childhood traumas, or even start offering certain things, like, hey, here, this is $100, or I'll do this for you and things like that. This is because it has naturally progressed to that point in your relationship. Also, it is very important that I mention that these people are not necessarily bad per se. We're all human beings going through human experience. It is what it is. This is the human experience. But unfortunately, like I've mentioned on so many different episodes in the past, a lot of people are stuck in pain. A lot of people are in pain and they're stuck in pain and they don't know how to leverage and lean into that pain and make the most out of what is and maximize their own being. Again, I've talked about how and why that is. It's much darker, much heavier than most people may be able to comprehend, but this is still the reality. There's something called existential pain in this world, and a lot of people are crippled by it. And unfortunately, instead of people to look in the mirror and try to rectify what is broken within them, they perpetuate their pain without realizing that they are the problem and only them can alleviate that problem. So these people are not necessarily bad people, and they should not be looked at as bad people, nor should they be judged as bad people. Again, like I've always mentioned, we're all human beings trying to survive this human reality. But truly, part of that process of being human and graduating onto the next is protecting your energy. You have to protect your energy, your sanity. Once again, true happiness, true success comes from the inside. Take your time to heal what's broken. Take your time to get to know yourself. Take your time. Soul search. And if you don't know how to, there's so many resources. This is also part of what I do with my life coaching. I can help you. Look within. True success comes from within. Only when you fix and heal what's inside of you would you be able to find people who compliment it. Again, the law of reciprocity states that you only receive what you give. If you are broken, if you are not healed, if you are empty, if you are void, naturally you exude emptiness, and as a result you receive emptiness. The only people who will gravitate towards you are people who are also empty, people who are also void, people who are also broken. However, if you take your time to heal that which is within you, the only people you will naturally attract will be people who are also on that healing process just like you. And again, inevitably, you'll bump into people who are not healed, people who are empty, people who are void. They exude that voidness. You recognize it right there and then, and you deflect right there and then as well. Again, these will be people who are so quick to give you compliments, usually very cheap validations, or offer to do something super nice for you, or always have some type of sad story because they want you to throw them a pity party. Again, it's a very manipulative tactic to trap you emotionally because they don't believe in their own ability to connect with you in a very genuine way. And lastly, to reiterate, like they always say, a taker always takes and a giver needs to know when to stop giving. I want to push and say that yes, that may be true to a certain extent, but you, the mature person, you need to know when to not take, because not every given is actually quite genuine. Anyway, this is the end of today's episode. Again, be careful who you call friends. I know that friendship is something that is human, it's very human, but unfortunately, that title has been so corrupted. And like I've mentioned so many times in so many different episodes, it makes me cringe when I see that title of friendship being given to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. And to repeat what I said earlier, one of the best things that you can do for yourself is to be very picky who you let into your circle. That includes people you date, friends, friends of benefit, family, family turns friends, and so on and so forth. And again, I've explained why in different episodes, and I'm going to be elaborating on further subsequent episodes in the future why it is very important that you have your clique very airtight, because there are things in the universe that will desperately try to seep in. And it's important that you protect your mind, you protect your energy at all costs. Please let me know what you think about today's episode. Do you agree with me that it is important that you take your time to get to know people? Do you agree with me that you should not be so quick to call any Tom, Dick, and Harry your friend? And true friendship, true love, true relationship takes time. And within that time, there is intentionality and there is consistency. And if you don't agree with me, please share your thoughts down below. I always enjoy reading some of these comments and responding to some of you guys. Please follow me on social media: TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter at LTAU with Uche. Instagram is UC_images. My email address is letstalkwithuche@gmail.com, and my website is theuche.com. Thank you very much. Until next episode.